Assalamu alaikum. Muhammad's Sunday Lectures, brought to you by the Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple, Unite.
And in the name of his divine messenger and apostle, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I greet you, our viewers, our listeners, in the greeting words, once again, of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Muhammad's Temple of Islam United Sunday Lectures. And we ask you, with all sincerity and respect, that you call a friend, a family member, or family members to join us in our Sunday lectures so you can hear the life-giving, life-saving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we say the life-giving teachings of the honorable Elijah Muhammad, and one day, soon, I'm going to teach on why do we say the teachings of the honorable Elijah Muhammad. So some of you brothers and sisters who are in Islam, or some of our brothers or some of our, brothers and sisters of Islam, or members of the Nation of Islam, or our Christian brothers and sisters, or our brothers and sisters who are in different religions, and they may ask us, why do you say the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad if this is coming from God? We will teach on that one day soon, so you will understand why we use that term or terms, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we thank you again for joining and being with us today, brothers and sisters. Regardless of where you're viewing this or listening of this, you might be on the West Coast, you might be on the East Coast, you might be in the North, you might be in the South. Wherever you are, we welcome you and we ask that you join us. And brothers and sisters, we in Islam who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we always open our meetings with prayer. We believe in the institution of prayer. We believe in the power of prayer. And we do that to ask Allah to bless us and bless me, to give you a sound understanding of the teachings of Islam. So join us in the Muslim opening prayer. Surely I turn myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to he who has originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. No associates has he, and this is I am commanded. I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none can turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals but thee. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and the followers of Muhammad successful, here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful, for surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did bless Abraham and the followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised and magnified. Amen. Brothers and sisters, we thank you again for joining us here in Muhammad's Temple of Islam United with our Sunday lectures. We pray, Allah, that you listen to what we have to say. We are not here to castigate our people, to beat you down. We are here to teach you and to explain to you. In this day and time that we are living in, it is very, very important that we have knowledge, we have guidance, so we can navigate ourselves through this turbulent time here in America. And I know many of you, by the time you listen to this, you may have just celebrated what you call Christmas or what they call Christmas. Some people celebrated Hanukkah. Some of our brothers and sisters who have embraced the principles of Kwanzaa. But I hope those things have given you something that make you think about the value of life. Because it's not about commercialism. It's not about going to the different malls and stores here in America and buying all these gifts. The gift of life and the recognition of God is the most important thing. The title of my subject today, brothers and sisters, the title is The Value of Unity. The value of unity. And the reason why I picked this subject, because as Black people, we always say, you can always hear us saying, we don't have unity. The other groups, the Chinese have unity. The Spanish have unity. The Italians have unity. The Jews are unified. But we Black people, we're not unified. That's what's our problem. I hear that all the time. But I will teach you today, as best I can, as we have learned from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the value of unity, the importance of it, so we can do better in our life and we become more solidified, so we can make progress. But before I do that, I just wanted to take a few minutes, just a few minutes, to talk about how to eat to live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us two books, book 1 and 2. But those are series of writings that he did over the years, over his 40-year or so period, when he talked to us about the value of eating right. Number one, if you want to live long, if you want to live healthy, you have to eat right. We have lost some of our brothers and sisters through different illnesses. A couple of our brothers, one of our young brothers, Brother Kevin, who I've known since a little boy, died recently, last few weeks ago, from a heart attack. We have another brother has had open heart surgery. Some of the young men that I've come in contact with, some of my relatives have passed as a result of illnesses that could have been prevented. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, our medicine cabinet is inside the cupboard of our house. What do you mean? He means that the best of foods, the good foods, the wholesome foods should be in your closet, in your cabinets of your house. The reason why we're dying at an early age, the reason why we are suffering, many of us, is because of what we eat and when we eat it and how we eat it. Number one is to stay off pork. Do not eat pork or pork byproducts. There's a lot of the foods that are out here today that are filled with pork and pork byproducts. I can't believe people are still eating pigs. You ever had a chance to look at a video or some kind of viewing of how the pig lives? Go on YouTube. Google it. Look at some of the pictures of how pigs on farms live and what they eat. And if you're honest with yourself and you look at that, because you are what you eat. So if you eat a pig and the pig eats dirt, it eats poisons, it eats all kinds of toxic stuff, it eats garbage, that's what your body's going to be. If you want to feel good, look good, and last here on this earth as long as you can, try to eat to live. Drink water, eat as much fruits and vegetables, eat garlic, eat onions, eat all the great, beautiful, wholesome foods that you can get. I'll leave it right there. And one day, one of the Brother Minister Wally said, Brother Hawk, you always introducing, giving us a little bits and pieces of how to eat to live. So one day I'm going to go into a subject on how to eat to live and explain to you the importance of it, and then direct you to go ahead and get you a couple of the books by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called How to Eat to Live. Now, let's get into the subject, the value of unity. When I was a young Muslim, I was in my teens. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote an article, and it was the headline of the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And the headlines read, "We must force Black unity." He said, we must force Black unity. Well, you might say, well, why do you have to force that on someone? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we believe that met with God in person, taught him of the value of unity. And in his teachings, in his working with Black people in America, he noticed that we were very reluctant to come together as a people. So he came out with an article. He said, we must force Black unity. When you force something, you push it. You do all that you have to do to make sure that unity happens or a particular thing happens. When you have something, if you have an instrument and you're trying to push that instrument into a wall and you feel some resistance, you have to put some extra strength. You have to force that thing in order to enter the wall or into the object by which you want to put that a piece of steel or whatever it may be. He understood that as long as we were in America and that we were not doing the things that were necessary for us to be successful, because we were so divided and scattered, he said we must force Black unity. And he didn't mean that he wanted to put a gun to your head or to beat you or to hurt you in any way. He thought necessary that we use different tactics and methods to force you. And the greatest method that he used was his teachings to make you understand the value of unity. He also made a statement. He said, our unity is more powerful than atom bombs or the atom bomb. So at that time, atom bombs were the most powerful explosives that America had created. You know, they dropped the atom bomb, this is America, in Japan in the 40s, when America went to war with Japan. They dropped an atom bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Those were large cities in Japan. And it wiped out hundreds of thousands of people, Japanese. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his teachings and in his patience with us, said we don't have to use bombs. We don't have to pick up guns. I know some of your brothers got guns. I know some of you carrying all kind of weapons. You think that's the thing that's going to allow you to achieve unity or achieve or fight against the white man who you see as we know is our enemy? He said, you don't have to pick up a gun. He said, our unity is the weapon that we can use to bring our people together, and it's more powerful than atom bombs. Now, today we have the nuclear bomb, and it's the same thing. Our unity as a people is more powerful than the nuclear bomb or any nuclear bombs because it brings us together. Imagine the thousands of us, the millions of Black people here in America, unified under one idea, under one religion, under one concept, under one idea. You know how powerful that is? Now, what is unity? Because we throw that word around all the time. Oh, we need unity. If we just had some unity, we could do this. We can do that. The word unity, in definition, it is a state of being united or joined as a whole. Okay? It is a state or a specific being joined together as a whole. That is the simple thing. Do you know that there are animals, there are insects, there are all kinds of species that unify itself or themselves to survive in life? This is true. The ant. Sometimes you may go out into the street. You'll see an anthill. You see all the ants together, working together. Although they can't think like us, they don't have the ability to reason and come to certain kind of ideas and conclusions, but they know instinctively that their unity, that their cohesiveness will get them from one place to another to what? To survive. Yeah, you got roaches in your house, they rats. Yeah, they understand that same thing instinctively, that their unification, their idea of togetherness as a whole allows them to survive. Now, here we are in America. Black people in America, we have been here longer than any other people besides what you call the American Indian. We have been here. We have fought in every war, almost every war that the white man has waged, has been involved in. We have went into different countries and loyally, but we never use that same energy when we return to the streets of New York or California or North Carolina or Texas. We never use those same kind of energy to unite ourselves, to stay in unity. So, unity is the state of being united and joined as a whole. Now, I use the word the value of unity. In the Nation of Islam, as we are taught by Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when you present something, you have to give an understanding to that which you have presented. You have to break it down so you can understand it. We would always say, we still say, the teachings of Islam under the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is so simple. A fool can understand. A child of a certain age can understand it because it's so simple, it's less complex, but it's deep, very deep. Now, what does the word value mean? You know, we throw words around, we emphasize different things in our language, but we don't know the root of it. Now, what does the word value mean? The word value means something of importance, something that's worth something, something that is useful, something of to be held in high regard. That is value. Do you know the reason why many of our people and many human beings fall into all kinds of negative behaviors as it relates to their body, their soul, and their mind? Because they don't have a healthy value of themselves. We are twisted and we misplace and displace things that should be held high, and we don't understand it in its value. Okay? We have a very skewed idea of what is valuable. We value a pair of Jordan sneakers. I've watched people, when the new Jordans come out, they're lined up at Jimmy Jazz. That's some of the sneaker outlets. Foot Locker, the Nike store. And they are lined, they sleep out overnight in the rain, in the cold, in the heat, waiting for that new pair of sneakers. And it's the same, it's the same sneaker. The sneaker has like a loop as a symbol. Sometimes it's red, it's blue, it's green. And you're sitting out there, they may change something, some part of the sneaker. They may change the front of it and put a different line on it. And they tell you it's a new pair of sneakers. It's the same sneaker, but your value, you think that's valuable. It's the same sneaker. Your value. Some of you will buy a $100,000 Lexus, or what's that car that Elon Musk makes? The Tesla, $100,000. And you value that. Some of you don't even brush your teeth. But you will get outside your car. I see brothers shining their car, simonizing it, waxing it down, cleaning it. They got 24, 26, 30-inch rims. They're cleaning that car. They're standing out admiring it. All this value in their car. When the last time you've been to a doctor, brother? Sister, I see you in the beauty parlor, in the nail salon, and the Korean and the Chinese woman. When you come back to car, when you come back to get your nail done, yeah. And you rushing there, you lined up. I see sisters lined up in front of the nail salon. They're getting a pedicure and manicure, getting all their nails did. Get my hair did. Girl, I gotta get my hair did. But then you leave there, you pay $50, $60, $70, $150. Then you walk across the street to the liquor store and you're drinking Hennessy. You're buying chicken wings and you're eating all kinds of toxic food. You're putting that in your system, but you're decorating your body with all of these things. See, you don't understand the value of life. Your first responsibility is to be valuable to your life. I don't want to stay on that too long because you have to understand what a value is, what is valuable. Okay? Let's move on. I hope everybody understands so far. All praise is due to Allah that we are here, we are now. Now, unity, the value of unity. The word unity comes from another word, which is union. Union. In the Holy Quran, let me show you this book. In the Holy Quran, which is the book of the Muslims, this is our holy book. It's called the Holy Quran, untouched, untampered. Well, you said, well, people can go in there untouched and tampered. Yeah, but we have people that know it by heart. We have children that can quote this Holy Quran from Al-Fatiha to Al-Nas, the end. All of the chapters by memory. So it's hard to tamper with this. Now, in the Holy Quran, in every chapter, it starts off, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Every chapter from beginning to end, except the 9th chapter, which is the chapter that deals with the hypocrites. Allah is trying to unify us through his mercy and his beneficence to keep us collective in our life. That is the beauty of Islam. There is the union coming from the prefix uni. He gave man and woman birth. He gave birth to me and you because that was a union between two people. You see the value? It cannot be one without the other. I don't care what you say, brothers and sisters. It can't be life legitimately, biologically, genetically, without the union or the unity between man and woman. They have artificial births. They have clones. They have all kind of inseminated way to give life inside a woman, but the natural way, you can't have one without the other. Even though they do these other forms of giving life, but they study the natural life in order to do what they do, what is called the unnatural life production. But the main point I'm trying to make, brothers and sisters, is that you have to have a man and a woman. You have to have the union or the unity between both of them in order to produce an offspring. Do you understand? Okay, I hope you understand. Now, the word unity is connected or synonymous with the universe that we live in. The universe comprises of a vast of billions of stars and planets and galaxies. It is so vast, so unlimitless. It's limitless, I mean, that you can't, they said the scientists, the cosmologists, the anthropologists said that you can't even find an end to the universe. It's so vast. In the Nation of Islam, we were taught that the universe is 78 trillion miles in diameter and is expanding constantly. You can't even find the end nor the beginning of it. Now, let us look at the universe. Because it is synonymous and is connected with our unity. It gives you an example of the value of unity. The word unity is a prefix and a suffix. A part, the first part and the second part. The first part comes, the word universe comes from the Latin word. The first part, uni, means unus in Latin, which means one. Unus or uni means one. Okay? Let us move on. Hope you understand. Then the prefix or the second part, verse. The Latin word where it comes from, its root, is versum, which means turned or turning. Is one and is turning, which means there is movement. So when you're unified and you are in motion, there is life that is happening. Okay? We want you to understand that. Now, also, if you look at lyrics and music, you have what is called a verse. You hear a verse in the sound of music. There is movement from one thing to another, and you get a beautiful sound. That's where the word verse comes from, and the prefix is uni, universe. So there's one movement, okay? We have to understand that as a people, Black people, because we have to be in unified, but we have to have movement, okay? All right. Now, we're trying to break down, give you a foundation on the understanding and the need to understand the value of unity. We just don't want to say, oh, we got to come together. We got to be in unity. We have to have a purpose and a reason to come into unity, but we have to understand the value of it. Okay? Now, the first law of the universe is motion. Everything is movement. Everything in the universe is moving. Nothing's standing still. The sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxy, everything is moving. The second law of the universe is order. Although there's movement, there is order. Nothing is crashing into each other unless that those objects come together and create something else. But the law, the first law, is constantly moving. Okay? And then there's motion. There's order. Your body. In your body. As you, I don't care if you're sitting down, standing up, there's constant movement. Your eyes are dilating. This is true. You're blinking. The blood is running from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. That's movement. Constant movement. Everything is moving. If you stop moving, you die. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us and teaches us through his writings, through his lectures, that the Black man has to be fast thinking, the Black man and Black woman, quick thinking, fast moving, right down to the modern day and time. Now, I hear all the time, I mentioned this here, we don't have unity. Why Black people don't have unity? It is quite disturbing for us to always say that. Quite disturbing. Because we do, and we have the capacity to be unified. Don't say it like this cannot happen. But see, that kind of idea is passed on to one child, from one generation to another generation, that we can't get together. We can't get together. Now, I want to read something from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is our teacher. He's our guide. In June 1st, 1957, He used to write for the Pittsburgh Courier. This is before we had the Muhammad Speaks newspapers for those brothers and sisters who are not familiar with the history of the Nation of Islam and our movement. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to write in a black newspaper called the Pittsburgh Courier. The brothers sold so many Pittsburgh Couriers, we boosted their circulation. This is true. They were having problems with the circulation. They were selling a few thousand. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's column showed up in the Pittsburgh Courier and the brothers took the papers, we took the papers everywhere. The editors and the publisher of that newspaper were so happy. That was before Muhammad Speaks came out, which was in 1960. But anyway, in the Pittsburgh Courier, June 1st, 1957, Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote a column on unity. This is what he said. Listen. He said, unity, this principle, unity, when understood and carried into practice, is the real purpose of Allah. Allah came for us, brothers and sisters. Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the purpose was to unify us. He said, it is the practice, is the real purpose of unity and his religion, Islam. God created everything for a purpose. Unity is the purpose of the coming of Allah, God, and the judgment of this world. His purpose was to come and to unify us, and the purpose was to give us life and to bring us into the oneness and the understanding of Allah. Who is Allah? Who are ourselves, who we are as a people, in the knowledge of the devil. That is some of the main purpose, or the purposes that the Allah came and taught and raised up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me go on. He said, this unity is the worst among the so-called American Negroes than any other people on the earth. There is none equal my poor people here in America. He said, unity among us is a greater weapon for us than all the atom bombs that the West can manufacture. He understood the value and the purpose of unity as it applied to us. Now, let me give you an understanding as we move on, brothers and sisters, the value of unity, so you can understand how the importance of it. You ever look, we talked about the universe. We talked about how the planets and the galaxies, all those things are moving. That's light, that's energy rotating in a sphere, circles in the universe. Okay? If those things weren't happening, there would be no life in the universe. There would be no life on this planet. Even the sun, some people believe the sun was stationary and it was the center of the universe. No, the sun is just another star. Okay? It has a diameter. It has a circumference. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that its energy, its heat, is the most mysterious of all the objects in our galaxy. They don't even know where the energy is coming from. What is its purpose? And I was told, and I believe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it. He said he asked Master Fard Muhammad one time. He said, how was the sun created? And what keeps it burning? He said, Master Fard Muhammad looked at him with a stern look. He said, don't answer me that question ever again. It's a mysterious, unknown energy that the white scientists, the cosmologists don't even understand. That is the value and the beauty and the majesty of Allah. All praises is due to Allah. See, the white man don't know everything. Now look at a wheel. Many of us have bikes or have road bikes. You know, the bike is in a circle. The wheel is in a circle, right? And you have inside the wheel, you have what is called spokes. Not only do the spokes hold up the wheel as it's turning and you're riding it, but those spokes keep that wheel together. It keeps it solidified. It keeps it together, and it keeps it whole, so that wheel is turning. If those spokes break, if 2, 3, 4, 5 of those spokes break, the wheel collapses, and you'll fall off, and you'll fall down, and you'll break your crown. Yeah, but the purpose, the point I'm trying to make is that without the spokes, which are unified together, that keeps the wheel moving and turning. Look at the human body. I'm talking about the value of unity, brothers and sisters, so you can know why we must come together as a people. Look at the human body. Every part of our body, though playing each organ plays a different role, it is all unified together for your survival and your perpetuation of life, your perpetually ability to live. You have the eyes. If you weren't able to see, you couldn't carry your body anywhere to go to the store or go to work. Look at the heart. And sometimes this is why I'm using the body as an example, because sometimes you say, oh, we're so unified, we're not together. But look at the body. What if the heart tells the eyes, oh, I'm pumping blood into the body. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be able to see. You wouldn't be able to, even though you can see, if you didn't have me pumping that blood in the body, you would be lost. And then the lungs would say, well, if I wasn't breathing properly in and out, the heart, the eyes, you wouldn't have no value. Okay? And what if the feet say, well, if I wasn't able to walk, stand on the ground, the heart, the eyes, the lungs, you wouldn't be able to do anything that you're doing. So you see each one of them, how important. Okay? So the body is a magnificent machine. It works in unity for the perpetuation and the survival of your body. Every organ is important. Each one of them have a different purpose and have a different role, but they're working together in unity for the life of your body. That's how we have to see this, brothers and sisters. We cannot survive unless we understand and operate and see the value of our connection and our unity with each other. You can't say that you want unity and you want to kill your brother. You want to hurt your sister. You want to use and abuse your women and your daughters and your sons. If a brother is successful in life, you can't be jealous and envy of him and not see the value of how he can help you. We, sisters, you can't be in a white man's corporations and not understand that you can bring your sister who may not have the ability to get that job to show her I have a niece. She worked for the Department of Aging. She said there's only two supervisors, only 2 black supervisors in that agency, and everyone is white. Because the white people are in unity. They are helping their people. And she said every time she tries to bring a young black sister in or a young black man in, they make excuses. But we get in position and we think we're the only ones. Oh, I'm the first black person. I'm the first African American. Oh, that's good. That's beautiful. But have you reached down to pull your brother and sister in to show that unity and love? So I'm glad I used the word love. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is going to talk about that. I'm going to get into that a little bit as we near, not in, as we near our subject. Unity is very important. I remember Malcolm made a analysis about being unified, because we got to understand the power of unity. It's just not just coming together, but to know the power and the value of it. He said, you see these 5 hands? Malcolm made an example. He said, you see these 5 fingers, these 5 digits, okay? He said, they're separated. He said, if I slap you, he said, you're going to feel that sting. You're going to feel the effects of it, okay? But he said, if I take these 5 digits, these 5 fingers, and I bring them together like this, and tighten them in a unified effort, and I punched you in your face, he said, I'll knock you out. You might not even get up anymore. That's the power of unity. We cannot complain that the white man is doing anything to us if we're not in unity. If we come together like those 5 fingers and close those fingers into a unified effort, and when they come against us, we fight back. We are not the brains out of all the negative images and the negative aspects around us. And we will be successful because we are built being unity. I'm not telling you to go out there and commit any violence, because in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us we only fight in self-defense. We fight those that fight against us. Now, the value of unity. You know, brothers and sisters, I opened up and I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the headlines. He wrote an article, and the headlines of that article in Muhammad Speak newspapers said, we must force black unity. You know, it grieved him. He was very sad sometimes. We said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sad. Yes, he got sad because he wanted to see his people free. And it grieved him when he learned or heard that we would fight and kill each other as a people. He was just not only talking about black people, he was talking about his followers too. That hurt him. Some of the ministers that was with him and that I had a chance to be blessed to sit with, they used to tell me how the messenger would get so upset when he would hear how we would treat each other. He hated the disunity that exists among us as a people, as a nation. You know, he wanted all of our people united, not just members of the Nation of Islam. He wanted all of our people, the 30 to 40 million black people here in America. Do you know he met with Dr. Martin Luther King? They don't publicize it that much. And some of you Muslims, y'all been around here, you don't even know when the meeting took place, who was at the meeting, who organized the meeting, who facilitated the meeting. You don't even know what they said in the meeting. The FBI knows what they said. The government of the United States know what Dr. Martin Luther King in 1966, yes, 66, yeah, that they met. They never publicize it. They never talk about it. And they met. Some of you black historians, how dare you leave that out? Shame on you. You talk about all the other historical things that happened, but you don't talk about that meeting. Now, who you working for? Do you really want unity? I know what was discussed in that meeting because I sat with the man, Kwame Ture. You call him Stokely Carmichael. He was one of the ones that helped facilitate that meeting. I was a liaison from the Nation of Islam to his group, the All African People's Revolutionary Party. I was the liaison from the nation to his group, and whenever there was a meeting or ever there was an event that the All African People's Revolutionary Party, who he was the chairman of, I would be there with them. And I used to ask him, I said, Brother Kwame, what happened in that meeting? He said, oh, brother, he talked in a very charismatic way. He said there was a meeting, and the meeting took place with the teacher of the Nation of Islam, Mr. Muhammad. Yes. I used to love to hear him talk. You know what they talked about? About unity. Although the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Dr. King, he said, you're afraid of the white man. He said, that's your problem. He said, but Dr. King loved black people. And he said, we agreed. He said, we talked about the things that were happening to black people. And he said, we agreed, we pledged to work together for the betterment of black people in housing, in finance, and all the other aspects. That's right, that's what they talked about. And they had planned another meeting until Dr. King's assassination. Some of y'all don't even know that. This is true. So he wanted unity, not just among the members of the Nation of Islam. He wanted all of our people. Now, we always complain. And the messenger always referred us to the book of Ezekiel. In the book of Ezekiel, in the chapter, the visions of God. This is in the book of Ezekiel, in the Bible that you read. In the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel has a vision of dry bones. And these dry bones were in a valley. And the Son of a Man, was set down in the valley. And there was a prophecy that Ezekiel prophesied of the dry bones in the valley and the word of God. Listen now, because we may not understand. These dry bones that's in the valley in the book of Ezekiel is the best example of the disunity and the life of black people in America. In the book of Ezekiel, in the 37th chapter, the bones are talking, and the bones are in a valley. Now, what do you mean a valley? A valley is a low place. A valley is a place that is below the surface of a particular area. So here is Ezekiel with this vision of these dry bones in a valley. Now, here was black people. And not only, and this is why Allah, Master Muhammad came. He came where? Paradise Valley. All right? And when Moses found the children of Israel, they were in a low state of thinking in the valley. They said the valley of decision. So Ezekiel has this vision of these dry bones, and the dry bones are talking to each other. Oh, we are so disunited. We are so disunified. Sounds familiar? That sound familiar to y'all? This is a vision found in the book of Ezekiel in the 37th chapter. We have no unity. These are the bones. And that's why you have the song, the right bone is connected to the hip bone, and the hip bone is connected to the ankle bone, and the bones are disunited. Now, what are bones? Bones have no water, no meat on them. They're dry. Black people in America, we are dry. We don't have any life. Because if there's no water, there's no life. And the bones are dry. Our minds are dry from not having the truth watered by the truth of righteousness. We don't have any water of this of unity. We don't have any water of the knowledge of self. And I hear black people say, oh, we're not a monolith. Y'all hear black people, particularly our so-called intellectuals, they say that all the time. Oh, we're all not the same. We're not a monolith. Meaning that we don't all think the same. Of course, no, we don't all think the same. All Jews don't think the same. You know, they have Orthodox Jews. They have Hasidic Jews. They have Reform Jews. They have Sephardic Jews. Okay? They have all, and they have Jews, regular Jews. But you know what they have in common? They are in unity when it comes to the life and the perpetuation of their people. And black people say all the time, oh, we're not a monolith. We may not be a monolith, but we're monolithically black. And when the white man see you, he don't see just you as a member of the Nation of Islam, or a black Hebrew, or a black Muslim, or a black Jew, or a black Christian, or a black Buddhist. They see you as nothing. And they treat all you, they won't ask you who you belong to, who you with, what you believe in. And this is why we have to stop, brothers and sisters, thinking the way we do. Saying that we're not a monolith. We're monolithically black, and we're monolithically being oppressed in America. So let me just read something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote on the effects of unity. And the message to the black man, all of you need to have a copy of this. You have all kinds of other books. Get this book. Because we always say that we don't have unity. Do you ever think why we don't have the unity, or the unity that you say we don't have? On page 220 of Message to the Black Men in America, the unity of 22 million, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote, the cause of this lack of unity among us is due to the work and the teachings of our enemy. See, our enemy injects that kind of disunity among us. Oh, you different from that black person, or you not like them, or stay away from those black Muslims. Oh, you're part of that Nation of Islam. Oh, y'all shouldn't be like them. Because I know the other members. I know Salis Muhammad. Oh, I know Louis Farrakhan. Oh, I know Wallace Muhammad. Y'all ain't like them. See, he says that. This is true. But when they come against us, they don't make that distinction. He said it is the slave master's teachings that causes and interjects that disunity. He said our slave master's children have reared our fathers and mothers to be the enemies of each other. You gonna be an enemy of your brother? I don't care what level of life he's in. How you gonna be an enemy? He's gonna be your enemy. He can't do nothing to you that you can't do to him. You don't have no real power. You can gain power because God come to give you power. Then he goes on to say, they have destroyed our love of self and kind. They have educated us to hate and refuse all that goes for black people. The white man has educated us, and that's why we got to get our children out of these schools, brothers and sisters. We cannot teach unity and unification among us, and our little babies are in the hands of the white educators. What do you think they're going to come home? They're going to be thinking like them. And regardless of what you tried to do, they already injected them. As we used to say in the 5% nation, they had stuck a pin in their head. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the lack of love for self and kind keeps us divided. The lack of self and kind keeps us divided. In order to have true unity, brothers and sisters, you have to have love for your brother and your sister. True love, not just saying it. You just can't say it. You have to be in action, the action of love. You have to love your brother unconditionally, not tolerating, because we don't want to try to tolerate foolishness. You gotta but you have to correct them, teach them, organize them with love. You have to do it with love. He said, and being divided, we are a nation of prey at the hands of our open enemies. Our disunity allows us to be prey to our open enemies, and they will use that. So, as those dry bones sat in the valley, the Son of Man sat down in the valley. And God told the Son of Man to prophesy to the four winds or speak to the dry bones. This is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking to us, the dry bones, telling us to come alive. And when the four winds of circumstances and controversy and chastisement begin to shake the bones begin to come together. And they came together in an exceedingly strong army. And the bones stood up. Marcus Garvey came and blew on the bones in the 1920s. But the bones didn't completely come together. Okay? Noble Drew Ali, the great prophet of the Moorish Zion Temple, he blew on the bones, and the bones shook, and they rattled. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad blew on the bones, he blew with a trumpet that was so powerful, he pulled Lazarus out of the grave. And Lazarus stood up. And you saw armies. I saw armies of black men when I was a young fruit of Islam. Brothers who came from the north to south, came from the prisons and the institutions of white America. We stood as a great army because Elijah Muhammad blew on those bones. And when you blow on those bones, the bones couldn't stay dead. They rose up. Okay? Which shows you, brothers and sisters, we have the power to do that. All we have to do is come in unity. Even though our people are in different segments of society, those are your brothers and sisters, and God has come for each and every one of us. And we could be free, but we have to understand the value of unity. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yes, we can unite. And God has come to unite us. You cannot grieve, nor you should be sad, brothers and sisters, because God has come for us. In this book of the Holy Quran, in the chapter called Al-Ikhlas, which is called the unity. Let me just read that. As we close, as we end, not the ending to the teachings, but the end to the subject. In the 112th surah, or degree, or chapter of the Holy Quran, called the Unity, it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Say, He, Allah, is one. Remember I said that the word uni comes from the root word of the Latin word unus, means one. This is why in the Islamic world they have what is called Jum'ah, which come from the root word one, or coming together. Said He, Allah, is one. That letting you know that Allah can bring us together as one, undivided, like a brick wall. Nothing can penetrate it. But it said, He, Allah, is one. Allah is He whom all depend. We cannot be absent. We cannot exist without the agency, without the help, without the strength of Allah. That is our strength. That's what brings us together, brothers and sisters. Say, He, Allah, is one. Allah is He on whom all depend. We all depend on Allah. We can't exist without Him. Not in a spooky way. The teachings of Islam that's in our head, in our mind and heart, is that which Allah is penetrating to us. And we cannot exist without that. So He begets not, nor is He begotten, that there is none like Him. There is none like unto Allah. There's no association. You cannot come with anything. And this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there are many gods, but Allah is the true and the living God, not a spook, not a spirit, but a real live human being that dwells among men and women. You cannot associate Allah with any other entity. He begets not, nor is begotten. There was none like Him. And with those short verses, that gives us our unity, brothers and sisters. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we can unite, but he said we have to unite under the flag of Islam. Freedom, justice, and equality. We have to have justice, we have to have freedom, and we have to have equality. All those things working together will bring us into unity, brothers and sisters, that none can come against us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad worked over 40 years to bring us together, not just the Muslims. And we Muslims, I plead to you, brothers and sisters, regardless of what denomination, what group you are in, we need to be together. Now, I'm not saying give up and not stand on your principles, but see the value of unity. The Israeli government and the Palestinian people, there's rivers of blood that's running among them. But they're going to sit down one day and work out some kind of agreement for their existence. Russia is bombing right now Ukraine. But those are Europeans. At one time, somewhere in the future, I guarantee you they're going to sit down and work out some agreement of unity to come together. They had North Sudan and South Sudan. They are at war with each other, but they're going to sit down. We as Black people, I don't care what areas of life you come from, we have to sit down because our children are watching us. God has come to give all of us life and life, and He has come and He never breaks His promise. So you are, brothers and sisters, the Black man and woman of America, in the grand position to show the world. But you got to be a pure heart and mind and strive to be better. And brothers and sisters, Allah will bless us to be in truth and righteousness, and we will be successful. And I leave you as I came, in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, in the name of his divine messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I close and greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, thank you again for listening to us. Muhammad's Sunday lectures, Muhammad's Temple United, and we thank you. And we ask you to tune in every Sunday, and you will hear the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, life-giving, life-changing, life-revitalizing of his message. And some of the other ministers that will come before you in the coming weeks. As I close, brothers and sisters, you want to get some messages of how you can help us, how you can be with us, how you can interrelate, how you can support what we're doing, if you believe. And anything that I said today, I hope you learned something. There was no reason in my heart or any way that I was trying to castigate you or make you feel bad or disrespect any of us. I love you and I love my people. So I close as I came. I'm going to close in prayer, Muslim closing prayer that is said by all the Muslims throughout the world, over a billion Muslims. I close in the Muslim closing prayer. Join me. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent and Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us along the right path. Along the path of those who thou hast bestowed favors, but not along the path of those whom thy wrath is brought down, nor along those who go astray. Say, He, Allah is one God. Allah is He who nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begets not, nor is begotten, that there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be praised or worshipped besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is His true servant and messenger. I mean, brothers and sisters, thank you again for joining us, and may Allah continue to bless you with the light of understanding, bless you with life, bless you with vision, and that you may stand fast in this day and time that we live. Again, Assalamu alaikum.
If you believe what you heard taught today on Islam is true, and you would like to learn more, or you are ready to accept and reclaim your own, contact the Lost Foundation of Islam Muhammad's Temple United at 623-312-4352. Again, that's 623-312-4352. We thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you return next Sunday and invite your family and friends.
The Lost and Found Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple United, is seeking to unite with all of the believers in temples across the country. If you are a member or a part of a temple, or if you have a temple, contact us and let us unite one nation under one way of life. Islam is taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The time is now, black man and woman. Your nation awaits you. Assalamu alaikum.